All right, and as you guys know, I'm Henry. I'm the dungeon master for this session. And why don't you guys introduce yourselves to each other?
I'm Matthew, and I am playing Dominic, the High Elf Sorcerer.
I'm Alex. I'm playing Clive, the dwarf fighter.
And I'm Katie. I am playing Xena, the wizard half elf.
Very good. Now, just a kind of general advice I'm going to give is what I like to do when I'm doing Dungeons and Dragons and whatnot is I'll make like a notepad with a bunch of information, like my party members' names and classes, etc., and NPC names. You didn't meet any NPCs last time, but this time you are going to. So important stuff to keep to note down, so you'll remember it. I remember it. Everyone remembers it.
That's a good idea.
Sounds good.
Let me see if I can find the notepad I started last time.
Or a piece of scratch paper works too. It doesn't really matter, just so long as you have information.
That's not it. There we go.
All right. So a quick recap. Your group got intel about an orc fortress that was going to be raiding the capital or whatnot. So you guys entered the fortress while the orcs were away. While most of the orcs were away, there was still a small army there protecting their treasure. But you went in there, cleared it out, and got the treasure for yourselves. And now you're sitting on a nice pile of gold, a bunch of missing horses, a dead hippogriff, and a strange beaver statue.
That's right.
This is wonderful. Is this like hippogriff? Am I correct on what animal that is? It's like the face of an eagle and the rest of the body of a lion or something like that.
The horse, actually. A griffin has the body of a lion. The
Okay.
hippogriff is much less majestic.
Oh, okay.
So it's a mule.
And much more edible.
It's edible?
It
Well, we
is.
ate it.
It is edible, yes. You haven't eaten it yet. We're going to start pretty much right after the events of last session. Except, so our... Oh, I'm trying to find the name. Katie, what's your character's name?
Xena. Zena.
Xena, okay. And you're a half-elf sorcerer. No,
Wizard.
wizard. Matthew is the high-elf sorcerer. Okay.
Correct.
And it is important to note that it is... Clive is spelled like this.
It's got a J at the end because it's definitely important.
Oh, that is completely different from how I thought it was
It's
spelled.
flavorful.
Nice.
Very flavorful.
I like it.
So immediately after the events of last session, where other guilds piled in and found the place you went to empty, looted already, and lots of orcs dead, and your brave leader, Apellion, is has gotten very quiet in shame from his confrontation with another guild. That Kara had to go somewhere and left. Rin, that'd be Anthony's character, also disappeared, leaving just Dominic and Clive.
Yes, we are the only ones remaining at the moment.
Yep. So I imagine the first place you guys want to go. You what did I say? You found 3 of the horses, 2 of the horses.
I don't
I think-
remember you saying we found any of the horses. 'Cause
You
they all
did.
ran off.
You found a couple.
I remember like 3 horses being found, I think.
Yeah, I think you found
thought-
3.
Oh, I think you're right. It may have even been 4 horses.
Nope.
Maybe 6.
Nope. Anyway, you can take the remaining ones back, no problem. All of you can fit on. You could fit 2 people on one of them if you had to.
Perfect.
You make it back, and of course, Xena is waiting at the guild hall. Your guild is called Fortuna. It's in the poorest place in the world, and it's really run down.
Okay.
You're just waiting there.
Cool.
So, guys, you explain, I don't know, your adventures or what have you.
Sorry, Henry. Did
You
you,
guys-
say we already know who Xena is?
Yeah,
Like
you're
okay.
guildmates.
I'm
You've
part
known
of the
each other.
guild. I just
Yeah.
didn't go on your last adventure.
Yeah. You guys, your guild is fairly large. It consists of some 10 or so people. You're not always adventuring together.
Adventuring as it suits us.
Hello, Xena. We have successfully completed our latest quest.
And more importantly, we brought dinner with us. You missed it. Cro-Magnon talked to some 2 dumb ettins, and he sent one way and sent one the other way, and then we killed them both. Anyway, it didn't matter. But the important thing is we got a hippogriff, and I whacked it on the head, and now we're going to eat it. You want fried or chopped and sautéed?
Chopped and sauteed, definitely.
Done and done.
I am impressed by your conquest here, man. I didn't know you guys were going to accomplish so much. I am so excited to join
is
you
just
on
gonna
whatever you
go-
got next.
Clive's going to go upstairs and start doing normal preparations.
You're going to go cook it, okay?
Yes.
Do you
Perfect.
have a cooking skill by chance?
I do. Background is in guild craftsmanship, and that craftsmanship is in the Cooks and Bakers Guild. And my character, according to this personality trait, loves to talk at length about his profession, and will one day return to his original calling in like the Dwarf homelands and prove he is the greatest chef of them all, and will do anything to get his hands on rare ingredients as his character flaw. So I can make a cooking check.
Absolutely. Why don't you make a cooking check?
What does that fall under? Animal handling?
Oh, well, how about it just...
I just roll a d20 and add like my intelligence or something.
give me... let's see.
I rolled a 10. I don't know what you want to do with that.
You rolled a 10? Well,
I do believe my cooking utensils does give me a +1 bonus to this.
yes, we will rule that as a... I guess an intelligence check?
Okay. We'll give that like a 12 then. So Clive will take his shield and 3 stones and some wood.
It's a
Presumably he
DC
has, like,
11. It's not the most exotic meat in the world, but it's not super easy to cook either.
No, so
So, you
presumably
pass.
there's like a spot in the guild hall where Clive does this regularly. So he will throw down his shield that he just used in battle, toss some oil in, and start frying the oil while he prepares the hippogriff. And this will also give his player ample time to go get his food out of the oven.
By oven, it's essentially a kind of cobbled area set aside in the guild hall that has a sort of a stone oven.
Oh yeah. I mean, I meant I'm gonna go get my food out of the oven while Clive. Cooks.
Oh, yes, that too. Your guild hall is very crappy, by the way. It's very, very run down, and any comforts that the place has would have been brought in by you guys or crafted yourselves. I don't know how many of you are really good crafters, though.
I don't think I am.
How would we know if we're a good crafter?
Kind of be your profession, I guess, or your background.
Oh, I of course was a hermit. I'm
You're a
talking
hermit.
to Xena. We were discussing our backgrounds.
Let's
Remind me
see.
again, Xena. What are you from?
I am used to teaching in a. Oh. Hmm.
Didn't you say you were a sage?
I have long worked in an ancient library, and I believe that knowledge is the ultimate power in life. I used to work also in a scriptorium where I taught many people the art of writing in Common, Elvish, and Dwarvish.
That's so detailed.
It's true.
Oh, well, yes, it's almost like you're reading a script or something. That you wrote, to be fair. Anyway, so why don't you guys pull out your treasure, your loot?
Ah, what did you guys take back? I see that the horses that you've brought are very laden down.
Yes, we rented horses for our last journey. We lost some though, so we're going to we owe the horse stables some money, I think. But in terms of actual loot, I think we have some money and also a strange
275 gold pieces.
275 gold.
Ah,
You counted
And
it
I
yourself.
think we got was that a beaver statue?
A golden beaver statue.
Yeah, a gold beaver statue.
gold beaver statue.
Behold,
Nice.
Xena.
4
We also
potions, 3
got
scrolls, and a yes.
Clive will
I'm
slam
in-
his warhammer on the ground, and he will take out the orc banner he took down from the roof. And
That's right. Rob.
delicately take the decapitated dwarf head out of it, which he say, "This is one of my kin. I gotta give it proper burial rites later. Them damn orcs don't do it proper. I don't know if it's gonna be worth much now after it's been holding the head, but it's our treasure." And he's gonna throw the orc banner that he used to preserve the head into the loot pile.
Nice.
Mm.
I'm intrigued. I don't know if I've seen an orc banner in person before. I've only read about them.
Henry, is the orc banner made out of any material that could be considered valuable, like perhaps silk or mithril?
No. It's made out of crappy cloth. It was dyed by natural colors, I guess. You know,
All right.
some sort of flower mixture, of some sort.
Well, then I can delete that from my inventory.
Yeah, it's worthless.
Or so it would seem.
Might be good kindling for the.
Ah, yes. Let the blood dry out and then use it to light a fire.
And then cook the hippogriff.
I don't know if you want those fumes cooking your hippogriff.
They're natural fumes.
Yes. But so if you're gonna bring this up, I was gonna be like, "Yo, I mean, I can smoke some of this meat. That's a great idea, Xena." And he'll grab like a grate, and while the fumes and smoke take over the guild hall, he's gonna grab some of the flank and put it on the grate and smoke it.
While I don't believe I've ever seen that method of cooking, and in this setting, I do highly applaud Clive. I do highly applaud you, Clive, for this interesting and creative way of cooking this. I'm excited to eat it.
Thank you. I just made it up. It'll be great.
So just to note, you guys did. You got some potions and scrolls as well as the warhammer, the gold, and the statue.
Yes. That's right.
You happen to have a sage in your party. Maybe,
I am a sage, yes.
maybe she would be able to decipher these scrolls.
Xena, would you be able to take a look at these scrolls that we have requisitioned?
Yes, I would love to take a look at them.
Can you make me a knowledge arcana roll?
Okay.
Just roll me a 20-sided die, and then you'll add +6 to it, which is your arcana.
That's awful.
So I rolled a 4, so that's 10.
That is 10. Sadly, you don't think you can understand the first one. Try again.
16 plus 4 plus 6.
Alright, but you're sure the second scroll is a scroll of vampiric touch.
Ah. Are there any other scrolls that
There's
I can
one more.
attempt? All right. I will attempt to make sense of that scroll as well. That one I rolled a 17 plus 6.
And the other scroll is a scroll of spider climb.
Scroll of spider climb.
So with these scrolls, anyone who doesn't have they don't have the spell, but they want to be able to use it, and they're some sort of spellcaster, they can use the scrolls to get access to these spells once.
Oh, that's fantastic. And Henry, quick role-playing question. Is it cheating to look up what a scroll of vampiric touch is?
You should do it.
Yeah, okay, cool.
Okay.
I only vaguely know what these spells do, but a quick Google search would fix that, or looking through my open player's handbook, or what have you. You know, you guys are
Perfect.
more than welcome to look these up and know what these spells can do.
Guild members. This first scroll is entirely unknown to me, but the second scroll here is the scroll of vampiric touch, and the third is the scroll of spider climb. I am very happy that you brought these back from your adventures.
Well, thank you, Xena. That is very useful to know. How should we divide up the spoils then? Do we have I'm a little short on my memory. Do we have a guild locker for everyone?
Oh, that's right. Do we live here?
Yeah, do we live here?
Yes. You would each have your own rooms. They're really nothing special.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I would vote that we divvy up the gold at least and deposit it in everyone's rooms.
Yeah, you can split the gold evenly among the people who were there last time.
I'll take some
Oh,
gold. Are you
yeah.
kidding?
Nice.
Just give 50 to everyone, and then give the remaining 25 to Xena.
Perfect.
Yeah.
Done.
50 gold.
As for the scrolls, those would be useful within most of your hands, honestly. Like, I don't think Clive could really handle vampiric touch, but
No.
you two would be fine.
Yes, Xena, would you care for either of these scrolls?
Let me take a moment and remember what each one does.
Well, the vampiric touch is a spell of necromancy that does melee damage in a fight.
I see.
And I imagine the spider climb lets you climb like a spider.
Both very useful things.
The spider climb actually gives you 6 additional legs out of your back, and then makes you a freak, and then no one loves you.
You can have that one.
Actually, I would like that one. You can be a vampire. Or something.
Everyone loves you, and you glitter.
So are either of you able to cast Identify?
Would that be a specific spell? Is that the name of a spell?
That is a specific spell.
I cannot.
What is that, a level 1 spell?
It's a level 1 spell for wizards that has the material component of a pearl or owl feather worth 100 gold, which Clive can pay for if, I suppose, Xena would be willing to identify Clive's warhammer.
Let me see, just a moment.
Ah, yes, Xena looks like she is concentrating to recall her spells for the day.
From the looks of your character sheet, it looks like you only prepared your cantrips. So for your first, second level, and third level, whatever, you can just kind of prepare whatever, I think, right?
Yeah. I'm not really sure how to prepare us.
Well, if it's anything like 3.5, then when you'd rest, you kind of select your spells for the day from the
Okay.
list.
Makes sense. I shall. Yeah, so for now I only have my cantrips prepared, but next time we rest, I'll figure out which.
Well, you'd have other spells prepared for the sake of time and convenience. We'll say that you had a couple
Yeah.
identifies ready.
And
Yeah.
You knew your group was coming back.
Yes.
Then I'll pony up the 100 gold, dropping me to 10 after our spoils, to have the warhammer identified, because that is an expensive pearl / owl feather.
So you
So I cast identify.
yes, the warhammer glows this faint blue, and then as the light dims, you magically understand its abilities. You can know that it is a warhammer +2.
Oh my god.
Quite a good find, actually. What that will do is it's essentially a warhammer, but all of your dice rolled with it gets an additional +2 to it, which is kind of a big deal. It's an extra 10% hit chance, for example.
Warhammer +2. Oh my goodness. Thank you, Xena. This will be great bounty for me as we continue to work for... Are we really working towards anything in this guild besides gain out debt?
I'm not sure, but I'm glad to be of service to you.
Yes.
Well, I will tell you that your group is a group of the highest level adventurers in the sort of known world.
I can tenderize my meat better with this thing.
But there's certainly new treasures to be found everywhere. For example, this warhammer was a wonderful find. It's probably the greatest treasure, aside from anything that Rin has. It's the greatest treasure your guild would have at the moment.
Perfect.
But no one likes Rin anyway, so...
Clyde, I think if you are trying to talk, it sounds like a robot buzz.
Didn't I tell you he's part bug?
I don't remember being told that, no.
It's a condition.
That's a terrible condition.
Alex, your mic. You might have had to step away for a second.
Yeah, that's alright.
Mm-hmm.
Right, so you also have the beaver statue. Do you want to identify that too? It'll come out
Yes.
of Rin's paycheck this time. I'll dock him 100 gold. He'll love it.
Yeah, Rin is Anthony. Yes. I would like to identify it.
The beaver statue?
Yes.
Wow.
I'm curious. I want to know more about it. I need to know more about it. It's so
That is
intriguing.
very, very understandable.
Your spell lights up the statue a bit, but then it kind of fizzles away. Not because the item isn't magical, but because it seems to kind of resist your spell. You've never seen this happen before.
Interesting.
We must keep this item, and I will have to see if I can find another spell that might help me identify it. Normally, this spell would help me know if this object had any sort of spell or charm cast upon it, but there seems to be something deeper going on here.
Intriguing.
Do they have the super version of Identify 5.0? I'm trying to figure that out.
Well, if the game has it, and which it just might, there might be someone in another area that might be able to use it that isn't your party's wizard.
Might be a legend board. Let me see.
Anyway, if you want more info on the statue, you might have to bring it to a specialist.
Makes sense.
Does that mean we need to go into the city and figure this out?
It just might.
Oh.
Where is the nearest city?
You guys are
we
in.
a city? Oh,
You are
okay.
in a. It's not exactly a city. It's more of a ghetto.
Ah,
It's called the Misery Sink.
I like it.
The name is an under exaggeration of the squalor and kind of horribleness that it is.
Ah.
Are we very familiar with the city's layout ourselves? Have we
You
lived
would be,
near it?
yes. This is an area you're very familiar with.
So do we know of someone who would be helpful for identifying this golden beaver statue?
You have several leads you can think of. Do you have any skills that would assist you with sort of... Oh, I'm not familiar with the skill system at all in this.
With recalling things, are you wondering?
I guess if you want to find someone that you don't know, you'd have to do an investigation roll. But for, say, example, you've shown strange items to some guy in the past, and you have a vague idea of someone you might be able to go to. They're
Maybe
in
a
the
history?
area.
History check or something?
No, you don't need to roll on this. It's something
Oh, okay.
it's something your character would know.
I recall. Here, come with me, Clyde and Xena. I recall some previous contacts when we've needed help with items before.
Hot dog, let's get going.
Of course.
And so we strike out the door.
Clive will take bits of sauteed hippogriff and put them on like little skewers, which might be, daggers or knives that are idly lying around the guild house, I guess, and offer one to Xena and one to Dominic, saying, "Gotta keep your strength up. Let's walk and eat."
Oh, delicious. What a fantastic idea.
Thank you, Clive.
The meal
In
was
real life, I'm getting
adequate.
so hungry now.
Adequate's the best we can hope for when
Yes.
it comes to hippogriff.
Anyway, you step outside. The usual group of loan sharks is hanging about, looking for your guild leader. They see that he's not with you, and they let you pass. They let you by. No hassle. Your guild leader makes such great friends.
Oh, Paul.
You travel a bit until you find what is sort of the opening of an aqueduct. It looks unused and very dirty. But Dominic knows that there is a very good kind of item expert there.
Is he a shady good items expert?
Potentially.
Ah, yes.
But you
All
definitely
right,
trust
guys.
this guy.
Come on here. I'm just finished off, as I'm talking, I finished off the last of my hippogriff meat. And my character, who was a hermit in a past life, has bad habits, so he pollutes and throws the kibosh on the ground.
Are you going to be grabbing real food, or is... I don't know. You
No,
mentioned
we're gonna eat
hunger.
this.
Oh, is hunger a thing in this?
No,
game?
no, for your human person, realness. You said you were hungry.
Oh, in real life. No, it's fine.
Okay, just making sure.
Thanks.
And we're going to lose someone to a pizza run or what have you. Okay.
No. And
So,
we are walking down the aqueduct. I think.
out of the aqueduct, you see a pair of small beady eyes on a small human frame and a large kind of beak of a bird. It's a very unusual looking person, but you know the guy well. His name is Ropes, or at least that's what people call him. And he is a Kenku,
Oh,
which is a race of intelligent bird people.
aren't they like the D&D version of Tengu?
Sure, actually, they're kind of like the human version of a crow. They make noises instead of talking.
Oh, and they're all monks.
Sure. Anyway,
I've
this
heard
one
of race.
this one notices you. Looks up from the meal they were eating. You don't really want to think too much about what they were eating. And it makes this noise. It sounds like it's sort of the welcome of this creature. It's a very odd noise, but Dominic
there,
is very
Ropes.
familiar with it.
How are you doing today?
Makes a appreciative noise and shows you the food he was eating. You didn't want to see it.
Clive will take an especially close look and try to identify what the food is.
Xena
Seems to
will
be
look
a,
away disgusted.
A dead rat.
How'd you cook it?
Makes a kind of offended noise.
Ah, eating it raw. Well, that ain't no way to get all your best nutrients out of it. But if that's what you gotta do, it's what you gotta do.
Oh, by the way, remind Henry never to make a Kenku NPC again because I don't do sound effects.
You need a soundboard.
Oh boy, that would be nice. That's all they speak in, by the way, is sound effects.
Oh God.
Ah.
Holds out its hand, assuming that you have an item for it. What do you give it?
I reach into my pack and that I'm presumably carrying and pull out the beaver statue and ask it, Do you know how to identify? Would you know how to identify this interesting-looking statue? We hear that you're the best.
It makes an inquisitive look, examines the item, holds it at every angle, kind of, you get a little frightened when it attempts to put it in its mouth.
Whoop, don't do that.
How do I freaking I guess it points to the item and
Do you write? Here, I have a scroll.
makes an angry noise.
Ah!
Oh,
It
I'm
doesn't
sorry.
sound like a bird. It
No
imitates
offense.
every noise. Which is exactly the opposite of me.
Well, Henry, you tell me what noise it's trying to make, and I will do my best imitation.
It points at the it points at Dominic, and then points at the beaver, and then points at Dominic again.
Ah, I see. It is an ancient high elf artifact, isn't it?
It nods.
Wonderful. Well, thank you. Is there anything else that you can... wait. I know, Ropes. Can you just nod yes or no, please, to these questions? Is this very valuable?
It looks puzzled at you, at the questioner.
I take out my bag of gold and I shake it with a questioning look as I look towards him.
It still seems puzzled. It seems to be it holds up another bag, an empty bag though.
His name is Ropes.
Ropes, is there a signature anywhere on this statue that might have, like, a seal of the person who made it? Your professional eyes might be able to catch something that we
It
did
shakes
not.
its head.
Ah.
It
Do you know what material this is made out of?
after a lot of thought,
Whoops.
it writes on the ground a single word. Where. W-H-E-R-E.
How fascinating.
Where what, Ropes?
It points at the statue.
Oh, we found it in the cave, the orc fortress called Nurgle Fortress.
It looks thoughtfully down at the thing and points at it and then makes orc sounds.
Oh, we found that thing at the Orc Fortress. Is that what you're wondering?
It continues pointing at it, making orc sounds.
Was this made by the orcs?
It shakes its head.
Is it a statue of the Orc God?
It looks puzzled at you and immediately just goes back to Dominic.
Because he doesn't seem to understand the concept of orc god, Clive will like bow to the statue and like put his hands together in mock prayer and make orc noises to the statue and say, like that. Is that what orcs do?
It points to Clive and then makes the sound of I guess if you were knocking on something and it was hollow, it makes a kind of a noise.
You're right, my stomach is still empty, and he'll eat more hippogriff.
It points back at the object and then makes more orc noises. Sort of, and then points back to the where.
It was nearby to here, Ropes. About 3 hours ride from here.
He, I guess further writes where orcs find.
Ah, that is an excellent question. Is the answer to that important to knowing what this artifact is?
Makes a positive answer and shakes its head.
I turn to Xena and Clyde. Perhaps this should be our quest for the day, is to go figure out the origins of this ancient statue and where the orcs got it from.
I would certainly support such a quest. This statue has captured my imagination ever since I saw it.
I look questioningly towards Clyde.
I had to step away for a moment. What did I miss?
Also, Ropes we were just talking with Ropes about this, and Ropes thinks, as far as we can understand him, he thinks that in order to understand what this beaver statue is, we need to figure out where the orcs got it from and what its origins are.
When you guys found it, did it seem like it had been sitting there in the caves for a while? Did it have lots of dust, or might it have been recently acquired?
You would have found it in a box, some sort of chest.
Not really helpful there.
It definitely stood out.
Was it like separated from everything else, or was it just tossed on like a pile of gold?
Oh, it wasn't so much that as just the fact that it really was a very odd thing to find in an orc fortress.
Well, thank you, Ropes, for the help.
I hope this NPC dies. I regret. I greatly regret. All right, so you guys are heading anywhere first?
Well, Clyde or Xena, where do you think we should begin our search for the origins? Should we return to the fortress?
I'm trying to recall what.
Is there a museum in this small town, slum ghetto place? Or a library?
No and no. There would be in the capital, but you guys are pretty far away from there. Be a bit of traveling, and you guys don't think you'll be able to rent any more horses for the time being.
Yes, that makes sense. Maybe we can try another of the items dealers in town and see whether they know any additional information about this.
Someone particularly eccentric.
Someone that can hopefully speak. Oh, except Ropes is the only one you know.
Oh, shoot.
Hmm.
He usually doesn't let you down. I don't know why he did it. Maybe he just can't speak. You all receive a message at this moment from your wonderful guild leader, Pelion, saying, return to the guild hall as soon as you can.
Do we receive this message telepathically?
Sort of, yes.
Do we receive it through all chat?
No. It'd be a spell of sorts. A guild spell.
All right. I start running back towards our guild hall.
It might be a trap.
I am not known for being
That's okay.
strategically inclined.
Bring ropes. Meat shield.
Nah,
So you guys return to the guild.
He's not allowed in the guild hall.
Apellion seems to have regained his usual flair, his energy,
His flamboyancy.
his flamboyancy. He's going around energetically saying, I've finally done it. We're back at business. No more renting horses, I say. None whatsoever. That won't happen again.
Did you sell the guild hall?
Why would I do that? The guild hall is perfect. It's exactly what we need in order to get our job done.
And how'd you make the debt go away, Apellion?
Oh, let's not talk about that for now. What I do want to talk to you guys about is I have finished fixing the guild warp system, our guild portal in the basement. As you all know,
That's amazing news.
Yes. Now we can use it to get to any areas we've already been to. Now, why don't I just show you all down to the basement? Follow me, follow me. You all find a sort of a
This is
trapdoor, which takes you into this really, really gloomy, dark, and kind of wet stone basement. The only lighting...
This place makes me uncomfortable.
Yes. The only lighting in the area is many, many candles, but I believe most of you have dark vision, so that's not terribly an issue.
I think we all do.
Yeah, even in Half Elf has dark vision.
Yep, I do.
Interesting. So you can all clearly see the large statue of the man with a bull's head holding a what appears to be an archway with a swirling vortex in the middle.
Aha. This is so intriguing, Apellion. How long have you been working on this project?
Oh, well, ever since it went down last month. Because I couldn't pay the upkeep on it. Unimportant. Anyway, my servant, Baphomet, over here, has been hard at work restoring the portal to its former glory, and now we have full access to anywhere we've currently been to. And we can return to our guild hall fairly easily as well.
That sounds wonderful. I
Incredibly
would love
convenient.
to see this fortress that you guys conquered.
Maybe we can find some more clues there.
Exactly what I was thinking.
Oh, that's incredibly convenient. A deep voice emanates from the statue. Who disturbs me? That was the deepest I can go. Oh, shut up, Baphomet. These travelers are going to be using the portal, so get it ready for them. but I just finished working on it. Oh, excellent then. Why am I talking to myself? Anyway,
Are you sure this is safe for us to use?
it's not. It's absolutely safe.
Can I investigate?
Yeah, by all means.
All right. I I investigate, and I roll a 2 plus a 6 for 8.
The candles are very nice. As far as
I think it looks good, you
yeah,
guys.
you think it looks like a great portal,
I think
and
it seems like this portal has been made with just fine spells.
vortex means magic, and
Spellcasting.
magic means hooray.
Good.
All right, onwards. I
Yes.
take a step forwards towards the vortex.
Now I have a couple of guild business I need to get taken care of. Why don't you guys go on without me? I will maybe join you guys later.
All right, Apellion. Have a nice day.
Thank you, Apellion.
I don't like him.
Is that Baphomet?
Yep. Step forward, mortals. I will teleport you. You guys all go through the portal. It takes you exactly where you want to go, which is the hilltop just outside where you fought the Ettins.
Well, good thing we want to go.
Ah, here we are.
Yeah, that's where you wanted to go.
Okay.
All right, how should we start our search and investigation? Perhaps we should explore the inside of the fortress more.
Was that a person? Is there someone here?
Yeah. Who's talking?
Hello!
Hello.
Ah, I've
are
been
you?
here for hours. Little help.
Do we see this person?
You don't. You just hear a
Is it
voice.
Cro-Magnon?
It is not.
Is it Rin?
It is also not. You don't recognize this voice.
Clive will look up.
You don't see much. You see the sky and, yes. You think it's
Wow.
coming from lower on the ground, but, you still don't see where it's coming from.
Are there bushes around us on the hill?
Small
Like
foliage, you know, but,
Oh, okay.
and trees to hide behind and whatnot. Over here! Just on the ground over here. Please?
Clive
I'll
looks
walk
down.
over.
Is there a very short person?
No.
I will slowly follow.
You do see the bodies of the Ettins you slayed not several hours before lying there. Also, one of the heads is looking up at you. Right here!
Ah. Is
I-
it Grog? Is your name Grog?
It's not... It's George. Sir George. Those stupid Ettin could never get it right. Anyway, little help. I've been here for quite some time, and without a body, I cannot move very far. Sort of rolls at you. A little bit.
Clive will pick it up, I guess.
Oh, that's the ticket. Very good. Sir George is the name.
Are you real?
Why do I look real?
No.
Do you not see me?
No, you seem like a nightmare or demon.
Maybe this form will suit your taste better. He turns from a giant Eden head into what looks more like a kind of a stereotypical knight's head, I guess, with goatee and such.
Clive will scream and throw the head away.
Oh, Now that was not very kind of you. I do
Now
have
there was your
feelings.
tricksy magics. You're a monster head, and now you're some human head. You better answer what you are before I decide I need to squash you.
Why, but I have not... I have already explained myself. I am Sir George of Delon. Don't you... Have you ever heard of Sir George?
Clive will look at Xena and Dominic and say, I don't like this. We gotta smash it before he gets all up in our heads like he got on that Etten. If he could possess the Etten, then he might take over one of us too.
That's a good point, Clyde. Let's hold on a moment first, though, and try to learn a little more.
We should each keep our distance from that thing.
As you guys are talking, it kind of rolls up next to you guys. What was that what you were saying?
Clive will kick him away.
Now I say, why not be nicer to a noble knight?
Sir George, what are you? Why are you only a head?
Well, you see, I've lost my body.
Well, clearly you've lost more than your body, since you...
I've lost
Can
my body,
switch
and that's
forms.
about it, really, actually.
Clive will point at George and, knock on wood and kind of like a hollow sound. Similar to what Ropes did earlier.
Now I say, that's just uncalled for. I have done nothing to you. Well, except for when the Eden were attacking you, but I had no control there. That was not my body.
How did you end up on the Etten's body?
Are you saying that you were trapped inside the Etten?
It's a very long story, but the short version is that one of the heads died and the other didn't realize. And I had somehow gotten attached to it instead.
That sounds highly suspicious, Sir George. How did you get attached?
Bad luck, mostly. I really don't want to talk about it.
I walk up above the head intimidatingly and say, "You'd better tell us, Sir George, or we're going to let Clyde here kick you around some more."
It's an incredibly long story.
We got plenty of time, but I don't know. My medieval world golf swing with a warhammer may not have all that much time.
Where should I begin, then?
At the beginning.
The beginning, you say?
Yes.
Well, I didn't really write that far. Improv! I mean, well, you see, I was once a great knight of Delon, you see.
What race were you originally?
That's why I'm human. Can't you tell?
And what city or area of this world?
The
Are you
why
from?
noble Delon, of course. The most beautiful city in all of the world. It doesn't exist anymore, but it was quite grand.
And how did you end up so far from your beautiful hometown, as you say?
Why, I was beheaded, of course. My body was split into many parts and spread
Yet you
across the
still
world.
live.
Yet I still live, sir.
How is this possible? Are you are you undead?
In a sense, I must be. But that doesn't matter. For what does matter is that a noble knight of Delon is, does not suffer blows to the head from a dwarf.
Do you need food to survive, Sir George?
No, I need my body. I must find my body.
We killed the Etten.
Oh, that's not my body. That was just but a spare. I was forced onto it and trapped.
It was when you looked like a Nettenhead. How do we know you ain't Nettenhead trying to be a knight?
Why, this is my normal form. This is my true form. All I
When you
ask
were-
is
When
that
you were a knight, what did you do anything besides being a knight?
I'm still a knight. Good lady.
Henry, I'm gonna roll history on this Dolan place, so we can actually see if this is a real place that once existed, or if he's making stuff up. Uh, 15.
You certainly have never been there because it doesn't exist anymore. But you do
Oh.
believe it did exist. You have certainly read the name before.
Okay. Well, at least he's not making up the Dolan thing. Is Dolan a place that would be well known among people, or is it pretty obscure?
It's kind of obscure. It's as I said, it's been gone for a very long time, supposedly.
Okay. I don't think he's making that part up, at least.
Was Delan purely a human city, or were there many races that lived together there?
Why, there were
Sir
many,
George.
of course, but
Well, Sir George, I have a question for you. And I pull out from one of our packs the golden beaver statue. Does this ring any bells with your memory?
Do you happen to know anything about this statue?
well, I do believe I do, actually. I wouldn't know of its actual history, but I would have seen the orcs dig it up.
They dug it up. Where was that?
Why should I help you?
Because we
you
can-
ain't exactly in an advantageous situation.
I'm sure many more adventurers will pass by here, and one of them will decide to help an old knight.
That may be true, but these adventurers may decide to put this freaky undead head in a box and lock it away forever. I'm gonna roll intimidate.
Just as easily carry you around in our pack.
Intimidate. Boop-a-doop.
That would be preferable, so that
I got
You
8
might-
on intimidate.
you had 8 on intimidate. Very funny, dwarf. Your foot hurts much more. He hops forward in kind of more bravery than he was feeling before. Anyway,
Sir George, how much is your body worth to you?
I would be willing to help you if you would also help me
To recover your body?
to recover my body. That's all I ask. You need not look for it, just find whatever you find on the way to your many adventures, I'm sure would be just fine. I can help you in more ways than just this info, for example, but I won't go into that yet. The orcs dug it
You're
up, yes.
saying you just need a body for you to inhabit, and not necessarily your original body.
Well, you see, then I wouldn't be able to control this body. I need
I
my
think
own
he
body.
wants his original body, Xena. Well, Sir George,
If my head still survives, I'm sure the rest of it's still intact.
Well, this is a risky venture because you are rather unusual, and I'm sure there are other people who would be interested in you as well. So we can help you with this. However, we will also require you to serve us for 1 year after we have reunited your body.
Why, I'd serve you for millennia if you could return me to my body. That's a knight's oath.
I look over to Xena and Clyde and give like a half nod and make it apparent I'm looking for their body language to see if they agree that we should move forward with this.
Make me insight rolls, otherwise you have no idea what this guy's saying.
I got a natural 20.
Not you.
Oh.
18.
18. Yeah, you can read his body language.
14.
You can as well.
Okay. I understand that Dominic is trying to figure out what we're doing, and I give a short, stern nod to show that I'm a little bit hesitant, but okay with that idea.
Clive will nod too.
I turn back to Sir George. All right, Sir George, you have a deal. I would shake your hand if you stood but a little higher from the
Oh,
ground.
speaking of deals, I believe one of you owes me money. Where'd that IOU go?
Who has the IOU?
That'd be Cro-Magnon.
Ah, yes, that is our good friend and guildmate, Cro-Magnon.
You'll have to show me to him at a later time.
Yes, we shall have to remember to show you to him.
Anyway, if you'd like, I can actually show you the location of where they discovered the beaver.
Yes, wonderful.
Please, we will carry you, and you can.
I cast Fly on Sir George,
Oh, that
Much
should be
better.
good.
so he can just kind of float around with his head.
Oh, this is different.
There you go, Sir George. Now you can move freely without, I imagine,
Well, it's-
painfully.
If you didn't want to carry a severed head, which I'm sure you're, quite against, I also have many other forms I could take. He turns into a sword.
Whoa. Yes, that will do excellently, Sir George. And you can still fly.
Yes.
Floating sword.
Okay, you have a floating sword in your party right now.
That's pretty awesome.
At least he looks intimidating now.
All right, Sir George, please do lead the way.
All right. Who remembers the pathway Anthony took? That had a bunch of holes in it.
That was to...
I do.
Oh yeah, go ahead, Clyde.
Yep, Clive absolutely remembers this 100%.
That's where the floating sword takes you.
Okay.
Now this right here, this is actually where they dug me up too. I think the beaver statue was quite a
Wait.
bit deeper.
Can you
You
turn
were
to a
buried.
shovel?
Well, why wouldn't I be buried?
Because we found other heads here that weren't buried.
My glorious nation goes back many millennia, and after our enemies would have slain me, they separated my body parts, and then, of course, they buried them, so that I would never be able to return to my former glory as a knight.
So you're saying the statue was buried here, down in this hole?
Before I was buried, yes.
How long ago were you buried?
They don't exactly have sundials where they had me. Hard to keep track of the passage of time when you're just a head covered in dirt. You tell me.
Can Sir George turn himself into like a small stool that I can sit on? Because if he can fly, that's how we're getting down this pit.
Yeah.
I was thinking a shovel.
No, it's
I mean, that works too.
that
Yeah,
that bottomless
almost
pit is not the one. The one I'm talking about is the path Anthony took when he went by himself. You guys split into 3 groups.
So we don't need to go down a pit?
You do not need to go down a pit. It's just a
okay.
room with a lot of holes dug in it.
Oh, okay.
Now,
I
what
guess we'll go
interests
down
me,
the one the beaver was in.
you don't know. He doesn't know. I can tell you that if this beaver was here, there might be more buried. I know the orcs dug here regularly.
Ah, interesting.
Excavating the mountain was one of their many, many. What? How do I? You get the point.
What is it? Can the the portal we used to get here, is that two-way by chance?
Yes.
How do we? So there's like a shimmering portal hanging in midair where we left,
No.
or got onto the hilltop.
You have a magic you can cast when you are not in danger that can return you.
Oh, that's nice.
Nice.
It's guild magic, so anyone in the guild can do it. Once again, does not work when you're in danger. So no one can access your guild except you guys. There's no portal hanging or anything like that.
Oh, perfect.
Can we look in these other holes to see if there's anything?
Yeah, what happens if we peer into one?
No, it's just a kind of hole dug in the ground. That's all the room is. It's a bunch of holes.
Oh, gotcha.
They're not all super deep. Basically, just imagine a very large kind of dirt room where someone dug a bunch in it, all over the place, seemingly at random.
Sir George, what did they use this room for?
Excavating treasures. There might be a ruins or something buried underneath here. It's a very old cave. Any of you got a shovel, perhaps?
I do not.
I think you would be a great shovel.
I dare say that would be a terrible idea.
Well, we're gonna help you find your body, so you might as well make yourself useful.
I've been in the dirt enough, as it is.
Well, you gotta put your back into it.
Have things really changed so much when I've been underground? Have mountain dwarves stopped carrying pickaxes with them everywhere they went?
Oh, well, most dwarves carry them, but I ain't one of those dwarves. I'm a cooking dwarf. I cook delicious food from all the monsters we find. So I have to carry my pot, which is also my shield, dual use. And I gotta carry my utensils and everything else. They cooked me out of the dwarven lands because I didn't want to do no digging or mining, and I wanted to do all this cooking.
Regrettable, I'm sure.
That's gonna be more regrettable for you if you don't become my shovel.
He flies up to the ceiling. Well,
I have a spell for this. I just.
Why do you have something?
Sorry.
Keep going.
I have a spell for this. I just haven't happened to prepare it today.
what spell in particular are you looking at?
Mold earth.
Mold earth. Oh, beautiful. If you guys had a short rest here, you'd be able to prepare some spells, I believe.
I could also cast Mage Hand, which I already have prepared, and that could dig for us, I suppose.
That'd be a cantrip, I believe.
Correct. Well, I'll cast Mage Hand, and the hand will start digging while
You pick up a little bit of dirt, and then move a little bit of dirt.
Yes.
It's a very slow process.
And I will rest if that's.
You're perfectly capable of resting in this cave as long as you set up some sleeping bags or what have you, which
And
naturally would be on you. Yes.
with the Mage Hand, I use my sorcerer's abilities to enhance the speed and the power with which the hand digs. I have sorcery points that do.
Can you do that
those
to a
things.
cantrip?
Let me look in the rulebook. I guess it says it applies to spell slots. Do those include cantrips or no?
No,
Gotcha.
I do not
Never
believe
mind.
so.
I think cantrips are infinite in 5.0.
Yes. But they also can't be augmented because of that.
Yes.
That makes sense.
So you can't actually do any damage with, say, acid spray if that's still a cantrip.
I think it's level 1
Acid
spell now.
splash, whatever it's called, yeah. That's a cantrip.
Let me see.
Poison spray is also a cantrip. Oh, why is True Strike a cantrip? That's amazing.
I mean, I think it's a little different now.
Oh.
I'll find the details for you while our slow digging.
So, I think your group rests while one of you is kind of just digging away with a
Yeah.
magic hand.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. After you sat down for about 5 minutes and looked through your spell book, got some ingredients ready, and were ready to mold earth. There's a nice new hole dug. Nothing really found from it, but
Oh, Henry True Strike grant someone advantage for 1 turn.
oh, that's a cantrip, yeah. Definitely sounds like a cantrip. So let's look at this mold earth spell. Or move earth, or
Yes.
whatever it's called. I think it's move earth, right?
It is called.
Yeah, acid splash is still cantrip, but it's supposed to be like a basic attack for someone else. So
All right. So with mold earth, I can choose. I'm going to choose a 5-foot square section of this floor that it has the least amount of holes already dug in it. And how deep are these holes, generally speaking?
I mean, 5 feet, really. Nothing. You couldn't.
So I'm going to take a 5-foot cube of earth and pull it up out of the ground and move it to the side and drop it and shake it a little bit as I drop it so that it breaks apart and sprinkles to the ground.
It's going to create quite the mess. Well,
I investigate
quite-
then the pile of dirt that I have
You don't actually
created
reach
and
that
see if
far,
anything-
is
I
the
don't
thing.
reach that far.
yeah, you don't find that much dirt.
Ah.
Instead, like a 20-foot pillar pops up or something like that, and then that's what you're shaking, I guess. It's about as high as the ceiling.
It appears that we've found, or we've triggered some sort of structure.
Sir George, do you recognize this as a building from Delan?
Well, all she pulled up was a giant pillar of dirt. But
yeah, if your buildings
No.
look like that, you're Delon. These chart holes in old times.
but if you look down the hole, down 20 feet, you might see something that's not Earth.
I'll use my dwarvish night vision to look, I guess.
That's funny.
You see definitely a different texture down there. It's hard to really describe it.
What do you see there?
I don't know. I guess Clive will go deeper.
Are you going to climb down into that hole, Clive?
I'm gonna jump down into that hole.
All right.
Clive will jump down so he can brush away the different texture down there and see what there is to see.
You are in a 20-foot hole of dirt.
Mhm.
And at the very bottom is this sort of rough marble. It's certainly not dirt anymore. You would think that
Alright.
this would be affected by the spell, but for some reason it didn't seem to be affectable.
Interesting. I'm gonna use. Where's stone cunning? There's stone cunning.
All right, stone.
Oh, the
cutting,
dwarf shows his
my-
true colors, says Sir George.
I get free proficiency in history of stone cunning when it's related to stone. 15.
It seems like kind of generic marble to you. It's very, very old.
Can I date it, or a rough date, I suppose,
Um,
based on the grade and how worn down the marble is?
it's difficult to say still.
All right. Does it look breakable?
You don't exactly have anything to compare it to. It looks breakable.
I will take my +2 warhammer and smash the stone.
It does nothing.
My God.
I wonder if I can detect if there is a spell on this stone or not. You appear to be having some trouble.
Yes, Henry is dynamite viable.
You want to dynamite this? I don't think you have dynamite, do you?
Right. I know I don't, but I want to buy some.
Sir George turns into dynamite.
Great. I light the fuse, toss him down the hole, and then realize I need to climb out of there.
You and Sir George go down in a blaze of glory,
Oh,
Oh wow.
causing a
but does the rest of
landslide.
my party?
Oh, the rest of
fine?
your party's totally dead too.
Oh my God.
Apellion shows up going, "What did I miss? Oh! Earthquake!"
I activate the save state so we can go back.
Okay, none of that happened then. You have this weird vision of what could have been, but chose
So
differently.
strange.
Well,
Anyway,
we
so
still
you
waiting
you think
past
there's something
stone.
down there.
Is there a handle on it, like a door, so we can open it?
No, it's just flat ground.
I found some flat ground. It's marble. Pretty old. My
There's just a
hammer
lot
ain't
of
smashing
dirt
it.
on top of it.
This is a magic +2 hammer. They ain't smashing it, so it's pretty strong.
Wow.
It's very. You're used to whatever you hit with that warhammer being completely crushed. Of the nothing you've hit with it so far.
Yep.
Maybe it's a cursed warhammer. Maybe it's actually a -2.
Well, it cursed. I ain't getting rid of it anytime soon. As per the nature of curses. Well, how do we get... Guys, any ideas on how we're going to get past the stone wall?
I do believe you have another like hour and 50 minutes of stone shaping or moving earth.
Earth mold. Alright, let's do, I guess, more of that.
More of the mage hand digging.
No, actually, I believe the
Earth
move earth
shaping.
lasts 2 hours.
My earth shape. It didn't shake the earth like it was meant to. It created this pillar and showed us the stone underneath.
I think I will.
Yeah, but
stand
you
watch.
can keep reshaping the earth as long as you're concentrating. By the way, make a concentration check. Basically, every 10 minutes you can choose a new area to kind of shape.
What does she add to her dice for a concentration check?
Be the concentration skill, which is.
That doesn't exist in this game.
Then
They
why
ever
is
did
it
that.
telling
That
me
doesn't
to
exist
make
anymore.
a concentration check?
Maybe Constitution or something.
No.
I will find concentration in my index.
At the end of every 10 minutes, you spend concentrating on the spell. You can choose new, whatever.
Oh, concentration. Maybe it works different from how it used to. Concentration now just means that you can't do another spell that also requires concentration.
Oh, then then for the next 2 hours, you get to just kind of shape this room.
So I can't do another spell, another high-ish level
Oh,
spell.
you can't do
at the
anything
same
until you're
time.
done doing this, yeah. That makes more sense.
Normal activity such as moving and attacking doesn't interfere with concentration. The following factors can break concentration: casting another spell that requires concentration, taking damage, or being incapacitated or killed. If you take damage while concentrating, the DC is 10, equals 10 or half the damage you take, whichever number is higher. And then you roll. Does not tell me what you roll for that. I guess you just roll 20.
Something. Oh well. Yeah, you can arrange the room however you want, really.
That's interesting. You get to pick one spell you concentrate on, then do other actions.
It's very cool.
Yeah, that is cool. Well, I see if I can move the pillar of dirt to the side at all
Yes.
and out of the hole.
Yes.
All right, I just make a giant pile of it, or pillar, or whatever form it decides to take. When
You could excavate your own staircase if you wanted.
I do that.
Like, you have a lot of control in 2 hours.
Okay. Yeah, so as I am doing that, I also excavate a staircase around the outside of this by digging dirt away from the outside of this. So any one of us can walk up and down these little dirt stairs that I've made, that I've dug out, and look down at this stone and be down by this stone.
All right. Well, underneath everything you kind of dig up, you find more of that kind of marbleish ground, and it kind of opens up into what looks like the entrance to some sort of ruins.
Intriguing. Well done, Xena. And thank you, Sir George, for showing us this
It looks
place.
incredibly out of place, and seems to be resistant to Warhammer.
This does not appear to be made by orcs. Does anyone recognize this architecture?
Is it Delon by chance, Henry?
Oh no, that would be miles from here. Looks much older as well. I'm unfamiliar with this.
I can make another history stone cutting roll.
Sure.
I got 7.
It's rock.
It's rock. Good
Insightful.
solid rock too.
Very insightful, Clyde.
You know, marble is it's quite good for stone cutting and architecture, whatnot. Very, very useful. It also shouldn't be underground for thousands of years, but it is. You found it.
Is there an obvious entrance?
Yes.
Or is there like a closed gate?
There's an obvious entrance, which seems to have very little dirt in it, actually. Very
And
unusual
it's
looking.
open?
Yeah,
There's
it's the strangest looking thing.
Interesting.
What do you think, guys? Should we walk in?
Does Sir George have
Yes.
anything to say?
Sir George does point out something that he notices with a roll he made. He points out the strange inscription on the doorway leading into these ruins. I can't quite make out these words.
Ooh, what language is it in? Could I make a check to see if I could...
What languages do you know?
I know Common, Elvish, Goblin, and Dwarvish.
And I know Draconic and Sylvan as well.
You think it's common,
Ah.
but it seems odd for some reason. You can't really put your finger on it.
There's something about this. It appears to be common, but I still can't really. The letters appear to be common, but I still can't. I still just.
I haven't the
Can't seem
faintest
to
what
see
you're
what it
talking
says.
about. It doesn't make any sense to me. Has common changed so much over the years I've been buried?
I wouldn't think so if you can understand us.
We have more slang now.
Oh, I can understand all of you, save the dwarf.
Ha.
You can read it, though. You think it
What
says
does it say?
unnamed dungeon.
Unnamed dungeon. Interesting.
Unnamed dungeon.
Well, shall we enter? I'm feeling an adventurous spirit.
As am
I
I.
agree, but first, we should name the dungeon. Clive will pull out a little chisel to go with the warhammer, so that Clive can chisel a name into the dungeon.
The chisel is significantly less effective than the warhammer.
Does my chisel break when I try to make
No.
letters?
It just has no effect.
No.
Whereas the warhammer also had no effect, but it was +2.
That's true.
Why do you think that your chisel might be more effective at first? I froze the stone. I don't know much about stoneworking, but perhaps that might help your chisel with more strength.
I mean, they put letters on it, so I was thinking I could put letters on it too.
I cast frostbite on the stone to freeze it
Great.
in hopes of making it more fragile.
Ice fires out of your hands, your elvish, dainty hands, and oddly has no effect on the marble.
This is a magical.
It doesn't stick to it at all. And it's not cold to the touch.
This is a very mysterious archway, my friends.
Well, nothing ventured, nothing gained. And Clive will go through the archway and into the dungeon.
Yeah, we'll follow.
Yeah.
Or I'll follow.
I'll
anyways.
follow too.
How long does your flight spell last?
Oh yeah.
It lasts for 10 minutes.
10 minutes, okay. It's worn off. Wait,
Yeah.
wait for me!
When it wears off, does the person flying collapse to the ground, or do they like slowly drift down? This is important.
They fall.
Oh,
You hear this
Yep.
shink as a sword gets stuck in the dirt.
I go over and I pick up Sir George.
Oh, thank you. You're the nice one.
Sir George, may I wield
You elves
you
are
in
the nice
combat?
ones. Why, yes, I am a knight, after all. Combat is my middle name. Actually, I think "the" was my middle name.
Perfect.
Or
Well,
is it
just so you
George?
know, if you fail me in combat, I will throw you away.
Sir George acts
Intimidation.
as a +1 longsword.
Oh. Perfect.
If you can't handle a longsword, I can go shorter. Can't do much better, though, unless I have my full body.
Oh, I can definitely use a long sword. Henry, what does +1 mean? Does that
It
mean
means
+1
all
damage?
attack rolls and damage rolls get an additional 1 added.
Oh.
It's quite
Okay,
good.
thanks.
Well, we should all continue walking.
Excellent idea, says Sir George. Quite excited at the prospect of not having to roll to follow you guys. You, immediately upon passing the archway, what looked like a kind of a dark opening, even to your dark vision selves, lights up into what seems like a very different place. It's almost like you kind of warped.
What magic is this?
But looking back, you see that the area you were in previously is it's still that dirt stairway you made.
Interesting. Is it? Can we still see everything pretty well, or is it too dark for our
Oh, it's
dark vision?
bright. It's
bright
It's
now.
light. It's the
How tall are
strangest
the
thing.
hallways? Big enough for all of us to walk like upright? Are they're tall enough?
Yes. It's quite the roomy ruins. You also hear a sound that's kind of persistent. Kind of this humming noise, I guess. If you want to roll something, you could probably get a little bit better of a description.
I roll for history on myself to see if I've ever heard this sound before.
You roll perception. How about that? I'll give you nature, actually, if that's what you want.
Yes, I'll roll nature. And natural 20.
Oh, okay. Yeah, you've certainly heard the sound 1,000 times, a million times, endless amounts of times. It's the sound of rushing water.
Ah.
It sounds like a river.
Friends,
stream.
I think that sound is a river.
Or a stream.
Or stream. That's definitely what that noise is. Let us keep going forward, since I don't think that there doesn't appear to be anything else living down here, at least right now.
No, I'll also mention that hold on.
Hey Henry, is there a sky above us, or is this a cave kind of thing?
Oh, it's a fully sort of, what's the word for it? It certainly seems man-made in some capacity. The whole place. It's all roughly polished marble that's aged slightly.
Okay. Yep, and are the ceilings tall?
The
my
ceilings are
character is
tall.
just observing. Okay, so there's big ceiling and.
You haven't gotten much of a look around yet
Okay.
because you've been attracted to this noise.
And we hear that water in the distance.
Yes.
Or Xena tells us so. Okay.
So I'll tell you a bit more about the room you've kind of entered upon. It's a very finely polished marble room with glowing lights along the walls. They seem to be some sort of magically lit light sources. You don't exactly recognize them, but you can assume magic. They're not torches. The room you're in is, let's say, like 30 feet by 30 feet square. And there is a doorway off in the distance that's also crafted in this same marble.
Unnamed dungeon seems nicely tame so far.
Basically, the only thing worth investigating would be either the light sources or the doorway. That's all, or the door.
I'll investigate the light sources. I walk over to see if I can examine them any closer.
They seem to be these balls of pure light. Looking at them directly is kind of difficult. Not like looking at the sun, but kind of the next closest thing.
How high up are they?
About halfway up the room, actually.
I cast Mage Hand and have the hand go over to one of the lights and try to grasp it. Can the hand pick it up like a torch?
Nope. Hand can't even touch it.
As in the hand goes through it when it tries to
I don't think
grasp?
the hand's visible, so...
Oh.
So how high up is halfway, out of curiosity?
About 15 feet.
The hand is visible. It's like a spectral floating hand.
The hand goes straight through it.
Okay.
making contact with nothing.
I walk over to the door. Is it a door or a door frame that leads to a hallway, or is it open or is it a closed
It's a
space?
closed door.
All
It's
right, I investigate it to see if
it seems to
what else
be
I can
your
find out about it.
average stone door. It's highly polished, and there is a groove in the center that seems like it would fit a kind of round object. The door does not move. You try giving it a nudge.
And
It,
there's
does,
no
it doesn't have
handle
hinges
on
either.
this door.
So, no hinges, no handle, just this groove.
Is the groove about the size of our statue?
You threw off the Emperor's Groove. Oh, no one knows that movie. Dang it. Never mind.
Oh.
It's
Yes.
not even a Disney movie, Henry. Of course we don't know.
Actually, it's. Do you think
I take
the
up the statue and hold it up to the groove to
do you think
see
the
if
base of the
any
statue
part
was
of it
actually a
lines up.
perfect fit?
You're a genius. Wow.
The base of the statue fits into the groove.
Yep.
Is that what you said? I put the base of this. I say, "Hey guys, come over here," and I show you what I've found, and I.
You kind
shove
of
the
turn it
base of
sideways
the-
and then fit it into the
yeah,
door,
I
I
shove
imagine.
the base of the statue in, turn it sideways, and then attempt to push it straight in first to see if that does anything. Does it do anything?
It does. Immediately upon doing that, the door has a kind of a reddish glow, and then it lifts skyward into the ceiling.
I quickly grab the statue back out of the
Yes.
slot as it lifts up and tentatively peer into the doorway. Is it lit or is it unlit?
It's also lit by the same glowing balls of light source.
These
This
must
is
be
a-
ancient high elf ruins if the statue was part of the architecture, like a key.
This next one's a much wider room, but it also has a single doorway in the front. Think, let's say 60 by 30, essentially. It's the dimensions of this room.
That's pretty big.
Yes, it's quite large.
Yeah.
You see a single doorway. Similar door, but there's no groove in it.
I would like to walk over and investigate that door as well.
The points of interest I'll give you for this room is kind of the left side, the right side, and the door. Really.
All right.
So you're examining the door first?
I'm gonna go straight ahead to the door.
All right.
Should I roll for?
No, I'm just going to tell you what you see first. You it's a similar door, but there's no groove, as I mentioned. But you notice on the ground next to it, kind of to the left, is I don't know what appears to be slots, very thin, kind of slots in the ground, lined up. You see 4 of them. I don't really know how else to describe it, but
Are they all beaver shaped?
no, oddly. I'd say these slots are probably like half an inch wide and I don't know, 6 inches long. Very thin slots.
Dominic is
So-
being rather cautious during this, and I'm just kind of keeping a lookout for any traps or enemies.
I think those might be arrow slits, but Clive doesn't know that, so he's gonna squat down and like close one eye and squint into one of those slots and see if he sees anything in there.
It's very dark. Don't give me
I-
dark
I've-
vision crap. I don't care.
60 feet of perfect night vision.
You see a groove.
I put a coin in.
The coin falls down into it. Lose a gold piece.
I put another coin in.
You lose another gold piece. I hope you have a very kind mage hand person
I
who can
put
grab
another
that.
coin. Does it like go very far back and like
It
down
drops
a hole?
down. It's probably 6 feet deep.
Wow.
I wonder if that leads to some sort of water takeaway system rather than another purpose. I don't
put
know
another
if it
coin in.
serves.
I hope you're out of coins, aren't you?
No, I have 6 left.
I thought you had 5. I guess you had 11.
Clyde, would you like me to get those coins back for you?
Nah, someone else might need them later. Besides, the treasure we find in here is going to be worth much more.
Good point. There's nothing else really of interest in this room as we're looking around?
We haven't investigated either the left or the right.
You guys just went straight for the
Wall.
door.
Yes, we went straight for the door.
I walk over to the left and see if I can see anything.
You do actually. You see an inscription on a wall. Seems to be words that you can read, along with a kind of a case on the ground, a metal case.
I lean forward and read the words.
It says, "Order me in terms of my strength."
What's in the metal case?
Somebody attempt to open it and tell us if it's openable.
I open it with my mage hand.
You find a yellow dagger. The blade is bright yellow. It's quite unusual. Possibly magical, but certainly very unique.
Hmm.
And there's only one chest, correct?
Yes.
I think I'm the only one over here. So I turn over to Clyde and Xena, who are at the door, and say, "Hey, one of you should check the other wall. I found part of what seems to be a riddle on this wall here."
Oh, well, I'm on it. Clive will go and look at the right wall.
All right. You look at the right wall. You see a large weapon rack.
What's on the weapon rack?
Weapons.
What kind
Shall
of
I
weapon?
list them?
Yes, list all of them.
Oh boy. There's a greatsword that's pitch black. There's a long sword that is this orange color. Another greatsword that's blue. And then a halberd that's also yellow. On the wall, you also see a bow that's mounted on it. The bow has an arrow that is green.
Hmm. Does anyone know how to have any idea on how we might identify these pieces?
Well, if it's I mean, they're all funny colors. St. George, did your Delon folk make their weapons funny colors?
Why, our weapons only looked as fine as you see before you, indicating himself.
Um,
We didn't color our weapons in these putrid green or disgusting yellow.
Xena, how many holes are in the floor over there?
Only 4.
Correct.
There are
6 weapons.
6 weapons, but 4 holes. I think that perhaps we have to put a weapon. Each weapon fits into one of these holes, maybe. And the only way the door opens is if the weapons are ordered from strongest to least, with the 4 strongest ones there. What do you guys think?
I think because the bow's mounted on the wall, we can ignore it, and there are 2 great swords, so we can ignore one of the great swords. So now we just have to do the difference between great sword, halberd, dagger, and longsword.
That sounds right. How do we know which greatsword we're going to use? Or we could just try both, actually.
What
Yeah,
are
we
the
can
colors
use
that
one,
we
swap
have?
them out. We have the blue greatsword and black greatsword.
Well, let's try it out. Over at my chest, I grab the yellow dagger out with the mage hand, and I walk over to the door with the mage hand carrying the dagger for me.
Do you want to put it in a slot?
Sure. I'll stick it in the leftmost slot of the 4.
It fits nicely.
Nice.
This one looks like it fits well, guys. What's next?
I think that perhaps the halberd will be the furthest to the right, but maybe we need to insert them in the right order. So let's hold that one and maybe leave it for last.
At odds with all these other colors.
What was that? You cut off a bit.
We a bit at odds with all the other colors, so maybe blue might be better.
Yeah, that could work.
I take the blue greatsword and try to put it into the next slot next to the yellow dagger.
But what do you put where?
Oh, I take the blue greatsword and put it in the next slot next to the yellow dagger.
It fits.
Ah.
Well, we'll shove the halberd in the last one. Clive will do a whole putting the sword back in its stone type of thing.
You try sticking the. Oh yeah, I guess first you try the handle. The handle doesn't quite fit in the slot, and then you try the point at the end, and it doesn't stay standing.
Hey, I have an idea, guys. What if the blades all go into the holes, and what if the entire thing becomes a bit of a lever, and we use the halberd to push on the lever?
I like that idea. I'm certainly up for trying it. However, we only have 2 of them in the slots right now, and I think we need to find the next 2.
We had the dagger and longsword and greatsword in right now.
I don't think anyone put a greatsword anywhere because if you suggested it, no one heard you. You've been cutting out a bit.
Oh no!
Where'd you stick the longsword?
Next to the dagger.
Oh, that's where the greatsword was. Exactly.
So wait, so right now the dagger's in the first slot, and then there's a greatsword.
Yeah, you
A
can
blue
move it though.
greatsword. Oh, okay. Well, at this point, do we have all the weapons by the door?
Yeah,
Can we
you can easily
okay.
acquire the weapons.
All right, so let's just start trying different combos. So right now, I pull out the greatsword, and I go dagger, longsword, and then the blue greatsword, and then the black greatsword. I try sticking in the holes.
Sorry, what was the order again?
Dagger, longsword, blue greatsword, black greatsword.
Nothing happens. As I said with the halberd,
think-
though, the halberd doesn't stay in the hole.
I say I take all 4 of them out and reverse the order so that the one in the first slot is the black greatsword, then it's the blue greatsword, and then the long sword, and then the dagger. How do they all fit?
They do all fit, but nothing happens. Sir George turns back into a head and drops onto the ground. Very puzzling. I was never very good at riddles, or puzzles, or doing anything without my weapon.
Or keeping your head.
Very funny, dwarf. Have we tried that bow and arrow over there?
It's stuck on the wall.
Oh, it's just mounted. I'm sure
Oh.
one of the elves would be able to grab it if it's too high for you.
I go over and take it down from the wall and bring it over.
How tall are you? Xena, how tall are you exactly?
Sorry, I am 6 feet tall.
Oh, okay, you're tall, okay.
Yes.
I was gonna do this gag where, yeah, you're too short too, but no, you're a giant.
Ha. I don't know what half elves normally run, but
They could be 6 feet.
okay.
You reach down and grab this bow and arrow off of the...
Down. Grab it off the wall, bring it over. I think that the arrow is the part of this that we need. I don't know if the bow is the part that is the best. I think. What combination should we try next? I think that the yellow dagger seemed to fit well in the first slot. So let's take them all out and put the yellow dagger back there.
Alright, yellow dagger first slot.
Yellow dagger first slot.
Let's try sticking in. Did you say there was an arrow with the bow? Are they attached or are they separate?
They're not attached.
I took them down separately.
So after the dagger, let's try sticking the arrow in. Does the arrow fit at all?
Yes. The arrow fits just fine.
Next, let's try the longsword.
Alright.
And then finally, the blue greatsword.
Not the black greatsword, but the blue one.
The blue one.
Does anything happen?
No. Also,
I'm
no.
gonna switch out. I'm going to take out the blue greatsword, and switch it for the black one. Does that do anything? Does that?
Nope.
No, that doesn't accomplish it. Hmm.
Does it have something to do with the colors? To Sir George? Ponderingly.
That did occur to me. Hmm.
I mean, we all know how great the greatsword is at strength and stuff, but if it had a color assigned to it, that would change the value, wouldn't it? In some aspects.
I wonder what the. Hmm.
I wonder what Ropes would say.
Maybe- What would Ropes say? Perhaps the strongest color is what we need to be focusing on. Let's try that. I'm going to put the. I'm going to start with the orange longsword. I'm going to put that in first. Then I'm going to put in the. What do you think is stronger, comrades? The halberd or the dagger?
I think the halberd's a little stronger than the dagger.
All right, let's do the yellows. Orange, then yellows. Let's do the halberd, and then
You still have no way of keeping the halberd in one of these slots.
Oh, the halberd doesn't sit very nicely. Maybe we'll.
We could do
Maybe.
I think the order is yellow, green, orange, black, because you mix yellow and green together, you get orange, and if you mix all three of the colors together, you get disgusting black.
What?
Right?
That sounds good to me.
Alright, so we'll put the yellow dagger in the first slot, then we're going to shove the green arrow in the second slot, then we're going to put the orange longsword in the third slot, because, you know, the first two colors, yellow is a stronger color than green, and then those mix together for orange, and orange is stronger because it's two colors combined, and then black is all the colors combined, and that is the strongest as a result, so we'll put the black greatsword in the last slot. Clive will mumble this while doing this wonderful thing.
Sir George asks to
looks like you know what
borrow
you're doing.
Dominic's hand. He wishes to face palm as the door does not open. Assist me, good
Granted
sir.
use of the mage hand.
Yes. That's the ticket.
I have a new idea. Sir George, how strong are you?
You're not thinking what I'm thinking. You're thinking...
I think I am thinking what you're thinking, and I think you're not
You-
going to like it. Sir
I'm
George,
staying ahead.
do you think you could survive 4 blows to the head? Because
What was
if we
what was
tried-
Xena thinking earlier, by the way? You might have been onto something.
I was thinking about the strength of the colors and thinking that I was going on the assumption that yellow was a stronger color than, or orange and yellow were stronger than the greens and blues. But what do you guys think? Does that seem like a reasonable thought process to follow along?
How are you? I don't understand the logic of the colors you were trying to do. Why is a color stronger than another color?
I just think that the colors are important somehow. And I'm not sure how, if not by strength. Or maybe, I don't know. Maybe colors.
Orange and black make black the strongest color. Or whatever you said.
Maybe it ain't. Maybe it's broken because I put so much gold pieces in one of them. So it sees all that yellow and it's all messed up.
Is there any other writing in the room on any of the walls or anything?
No. So George is thinking out loud even more. What kind of strength would you assign a color? This is very peculiar to me.
Perhaps.
Well, we have 2 yellow things, which means probably we can cancel both those out because they would be equal in strength.
Perhaps yellow is weak.
Perhaps yellow doesn't exist in the scale because, as I just pointed out, we have 2, so they cancel out.
I see. Perhaps.
And then we have 4.
The halberd
the-
just seems like
the
a red
halberd
herring,
doesn't fit.
though. It doesn't even fit.
Maybe the colors should be put in alphabetically.
Sword, sword, sword.
We have just put these in the order of strongest to weakest, right? We have done that. Haven't we? Comrades, teammates. I believe we have.
Well, nothing happened, so probably we got it wrong.
Sir George is looking more puzzled. He's makes a comment. It's really hard to concentrate in this room. I wish the lights were dimmer.
Are the lights different colors from each
No.
other?
The lights are very strong, though.
What if we all huddle together to block the light and make a little shadow? And see if any of the weapons are glowing.
The weapons don't glow, I'm sorry.
Shoot.
The real answer doesn't exist unless you guys somehow dim all the lights, and then you can find the real glow-in-the-dark sword. No, that's stupid.
I have a thought. I wonder if we dim all the lights, we will think of the solution.
How do you want to dim the lights?
Let me see.
That is a very good question.
You guys ready for a real hint, or are you resigned to finishing this yourselves?
Xena, don't you have a fog cloud spell or something?
In fact, I do. I decide to cast a fog cloud spell as while I'm standing over all of these weapons, and let's see. I cast fog cloud. I dim the
Hooray!
lights.
There's a lot of fog around. The lights are still shining as brightly as ever.
Let's take the weapon.
Alex, you're cutting out again pretty badly.
Oh no! Well, we take the weapons away from this place, and then those lights aren't there, and maybe we'll get a better look at them.
Hey, I just realized I have another spell that I could try.
Dare I ask what this spell
What?
is?
This spell is called Darkness.
There you go. That should do it.
Oh.
That sounds good.
All right, I cast Darkness from where I am, and darkness fills a 15-foot sphere around all of us. And any non-magical light can't get through here.
Henry, are these lights magical?
They're not. You're in a sphere of darkness. Oh, now I can't think of the solution, and it's pitch black. Hey, dwarf, have you tried hitting the door?
Have we tried hitting the door?
I don't think you have.
Have we tried opening the door?
Possibly.
I think we did, and then it didn't go too well.
We would have looked like fools if we could just open the door.
Well, there's no handles or anything on the door, really.
Perhaps there is an invisible element to this riddle. I cast see invisibility on myself, and I look around the room, and I can see objects that were previously unable to be seen.
All right, you actually do see something.
Aha, I see something.
You see what appears to be more common written, but it's oddly floating in midair.
Am I able to read it even though it's in midair?
It's all over the place. So,
Oh, wow.
kind of. Tell me a place you're looking, and I'll tell you what's by there.
I look in the center of the room.
The center of the room.
Over the doorway-ish area? Oh no, the center of the room. Never mind.
All right, you see writing over the door that says, "Puzzle opens the door."
And then I look to the left.
You see a over by the weapon rack. There's writing and an arrow pointing at one of the weapon slots in the rack, saying "Red herring."
Oh, no. I wonder which weapon slot that was.
Hmm.
You don't remember?
And I look to the right.
You see above the kind of the prompt. It says maybe too challenging.
My God, these people are speaking to us.
And I
It also
looked,
says energy.
Hmm.
I look around and scan if I see any other keywords that catch my eyes through the air with all these floating
That's
invisible
about all you
words.
see. You see nothing else. That's all you picked up is red herring, maybe too challenging, and energy. And puzzle opens the door.
All right, here are some new clues, friends.
Hmm.
Oh boy.
I wonder what energy means.
Maybe it means. Oh, I don't know. Does it have to do with the colors? Some colors are more energetic than others.
Do continue.
Orange seems to have one of, or yellow perhaps, has the highest, seems to have the highest energy. Maybe that's why the dagger seemed to fit so well in the first slot. But
It
then I
fits
don't
the
know
same in
how.
every slot. The slots are all
Ah,
identical.
never mind. I was wrong.
I've made a mistake.
Well, what if Xena and Clive, have you ever observed the colors of a fire? Because the
Ah,
fire is usually hottest at the center where it is.
I have many a times while cooking my food.
Have you ever seen green though, Clive, when you're cooking on a fire? That is the question.
Only when I'm tossing in some greens.
Well, we could try blue, orange, yellow, green. Since we don't, that doesn't really fit the theory very well.
You guys might be onto something, says Sir George. This is very interesting. Tell me more about these different colored fires.
sometimes fires have green at their source if you throw something into them, like copper or some other alchemetallic thing.
Ah, or what about black, which is the smoke of a fire?
Hmm.
But there's not much energy in that, is there?
That does appear to be the least energetic.
Oh, I would almost call it no energy.
Yeah. One might say that there is no energy in black.
Was that maybe where the red herring was?
Oh, you could burn green pine needles. It is the beginning of the energy. It is the source of where energy comes from.
Ah.
What if we did green, blue, orange, yellow?
What if
Nothing.
uh,
Oh.
what if we did green, yellow, orange, blue?
No.
Orange, yellow, green, blue.
No.
What if rather than being like a fire, it has to do with heat energy?
You guys are very close, though. By the way,
It could be like star strength because we got these things up in the sky.
you are very close.
Yes, are any stars green?
No, that's the red herring.
Oh, that is the red herring. But the halberd doesn't fit, and that's yellow. So that would leave us
Well, we
with
have
yellow.
the dagger, who's also yellow.
So we have yellow, orange, blue, and then black. Either
Or Death
black or
Star, so
green.
that's the weakest.
All right. So let's try black, blue, orange, yellow.
Nothing.
Other way around.
Other way around from what you did?
Yellow, orange, blue, black.
No.
Hmm.
Blue, green, yellow, orange.
Ding, ding, ding.
Aha. I think I solved it, friends, because
The door opens.
it opened.
Why did you think of such a combination?
Well, as a hermit who was a hermit, I used to paint.
I can't
used
wait to
to
hear your
paint.
answer.
And in color theory, there is such a thing as different warmth of colors. And so I thought that perhaps that order would match best the going from coldest to warmest of colors. I was very into painting.
Yeah, I like cooking a bit better than that gunk.
What an odd hobby. Anyway, I think we should explore.
Onward.
What happens if we take the weapons out of the slots in the ground?
Door closes.
Oh. Well, that's no good.
I guess we have to leave them here. However, we should perhaps take the ones we didn't use.
Does anyone want the black greatsword? Or the yellow halberd?
Yes, we will take both.
Huzzah.
Are any of you familiar with a spectrometer?
Yes.
Oh.
I use those.
I'm very sad then.
To be fair, Clive doesn't use those.
So you guys take the black greatsword. You did not use the yellow halberd either.
Yes,
How long
we
does
still have-
your detect invisibility or your see invisibility or whatever?
1 second. One hour.
Okay, you can continue seeing with it then.
Perfect. It also lets me see into the ethereal plane.
Great. Good for you. If there's a ghost, then I'll let you know.
Indeed.
All right, the next room is a much longer, thinner hallway. It's about 5 foot wide and pretty deep, 60 feet. You can see the end of it.
Is there a doorway at the end of it?
There is a doorway. Slightly different than the last one, though.
I go and investigate it. I walk straight ahead to the doorway. I don't look at the walls. I just walk straight down the hallway.
It's all
Oh, okay.
polished marble anyway,
Hmm.
with light sources. Are you looking for more invisible things?
I am just looking at the door. Do I see anything? in the door
Dominic's
with
got
my-
invisibility powers.
I do look just I'm just kind of standing there watching Xena go down the hallway, and yeah, I'm kind of looking around and just observing.
You see several notes here and there, just kind of floating. Things like need trap here.
Need trap here.
Where is that floating?
Sort of somewhere in the middle of the hallway.
We
In
need
the
Red to
center of
go
the
take
hallway.
care of that.
Yeah.
I text Rin IRL and say, "Hey, guy, get back online. We need you to take care of this trap for us."
I wonder if that means there isn't a trap there yet, though. Unnamed dungeon. Put trap here. Maybe this dungeon was under construction when it was buried.
Or
Might be
perhaps,
unfinished.
or perhaps it was created by a contractor for another person to come along and finish.
Mm-hmm.
Well, Xena seemed to have walked
All the way to the
unmolested
doorway.
down the hall. Yeah. Xena, I called down the hallway. Is the doorway? Can you open it?
It's got one of those grooves. Same as
Oh.
the first door.
I put the beaver in it that I don't have.
I think I've still got the beaver
You've got
from
the beaver.
last time. Should I put it in and shall we attempt to open this door, or should we look more around the hallway? I feel like we might want to take a moment and look a little bit when you saw the word trap.
Mm.
Do we see anything as I sort of cursorily glance?
You can't see much.
at the walls?
It's just a blank hallway. The
Okay.
door is simple. Where's Dominic at?
I'm still standing at the doorway we opened, just looking down the hall.
Looking down the okay. What do?
Clive is just gonna start walking down the hall.
Hooray, you're fine.
Because if
I decide to come down the hallway as well.
All right. Meanwhile, does Xena open the door?
Now, as I see that you both have decided to walk down and nothing happens to you guys, I take out the statue and try to put it in the door the same way that I did the other one.
All right.
Try to fit
It
the
opens just the same. It's as the door's opening though. Dominic reaches the door and he sees writing on it.
Oh, wait,
Do you
I see
wish-
writing. I read it.
Not ready.
Uh-oh.
As the door opens, you are all immediately sent backwards 100 feet.
Oh, boy. Water? Dirt?
It's sort of like water. You can't actually tell what it is.
so we are all immediately.
You're immediately
back 100
blasted
feet.
back.
Oh, and we don't know what sent us back.
You all take this much damage.
Uh-oh. Number at, percent, parentheses, number, star, asterisk. Noted.
Clive is dead from that, I think.
I don't think so. I think you're fine.
Oh
Wait, can you read that?
No.
no.
Oh.
You all get up back on your feet in apparent pain, back in the
Oh,
kind of the
ouch.
entranceway. What seems to be a large rush of what looked like and felt like water pushed you out, but the water is receding back into the doorway. It seems sort of kind of solid in a way.
That water ain't gonna get away with doing that to me. Clive is gonna chase after it. If it's solid, it can be
You
hit.
are a lot
So it might be
slower than it, but
might be an ooze.
as you make it to the next room, you see fully well that a much bigger body of it is escaping the hallway, quite slowly.
I think we should set a trap for it and maybe lure it out next time. See if we can get further
Oh,
in.
it's coming out now.
Oh, just kidding.
What it seemed to hit you with was not its main body.
Oh.
Do any of us know what it is?
No.
I think we had better attack.
Absolutely.
I shoot a crossbow bolt at it.
Your arrow passes right through it, kind of sinks into it, and
Oh, wow.
you're not going to miss it. I'm not going to make you roll to hit it. You don't think it had the effectiveness that you
That I
desired.
hoped.
It's basically taking up the entire hallway at this point. Seems to be a solid mass of kind of solid water. Don't call it ice. I will hurt someone.
Is it an ice ooze?
See, that's the other thing. I don't think oozes generally have what looks like a membrane, not a membrane, a nucleus of sorts.
That's true. That's a jellies.
It has a very clear
firebolt at it.
Ooh.
roll
See what
damage.
happens.
No
Did-
damage.
No damage.
Roll damage.
Oh, roll damage.
She is looking for her dice quick.
Nine. That's
What level's
my-
firebolt?
What level is firebolt?
Yeah, 9 sounds weak to me.
I rolled a 3.
You rolled a okay.
Let me look though.
That still sounds weak.
Oh, I have to roll 2d10, not 1.
I like this.
That sounds nice.
I don't see it a 1.
Oh, so it's 16 now.
Alright, that sounds more appropriate.
16! I hit it with 16 or something.
The firebolt makes contact, but it doesn't seem to have affected it in any way.
Is it
Interesting.
still outrunning us substantially?
Not substantially, kind of slowly. You all turn and hear a new voice. One you are not familiar with.
Oh.
You aren't supposed to be in here.
I will whip around and find this new voice.
You see what looks to be basically Dumbledore. Tall, bearded, robed, very powerful-looking wizard.
Oh,
kind of
so
angry
you're
right
the
now.
mad wizard who invented this dungeon. So lazy it's not even name it or finish it.
No, I have nothing to do with this
Shame.
dungeon. You shouldn't be in here, though.
Who are you?
That's not important. You all should come with me right now.
Are you friend or foe?
I'm friend. Now, are you... Do you want to keep living?
Can I be suspicious of him? And see
You
whether
could
I think
be.
he's telling the truth?
Yes, please. Be.
We don't have a lot of time. I'll explain everything when we get back to your guild.
I turn around and cast my ice spell at the water thing.
He rolls his eyes. Teleport! He shouts as a glowing circle forms around all of your legs.
I
And
jump
your
out the
immediate-
glowing circle. This is bad magic.
This magic seems evil.
I need you to come with me.
You just want the treasure for yourself.
I think we can trust this wizard.
Why?
I don't have time for this. Overwrite. Teleport.
Oh.
And now you're all forced
Oh,
to comply.
we
I mean, that'll
teleport.
do it.
You are all safely back in the guild hall.
Why did you take us here?
What
Wizard?
in the world
Who
was
are
that
you?
for?
Outrage.
How did you guys find that dungeon?
We dug it up.
Yeah.
Surely you saw our hole in the ground.
Mm-hmm.
You weren't ready. Well,
That
more
wasn't-
accurately, the dungeon wasn't ready for anyone, but
We got
there's no
some
treasure there,
in-
that's for sure.
No, we definitely got treasure from there.
Did you bring anything with
We
you
did.
from there?
Nope. Nothing.
I
Show
left
me.
stuff behind. And there's all those funky colored weapons. They sure look powerful.
Rolls his
Let's
eyes
see if
again.
you do.
You don't
Henry,
even know
did-
who I am, do you?
Dungeon Master, you know we did take stuff with us, right?
Yes.
Okay, cool.
Let's
Okay.
show him the beaver. That'll surprise him.
Are you saying this out loud? I don't know if I want to show him the beaver.
This is out of character, but I think we should show him the golden beaver. It might piss him off, and that would be good.
I am
Anyway,
listening attentively to the
You don't know
wizard.
who I am, do you?
Nay, good
Well, I
sir.
don't.
Your guild master has a contact I'm sure he's told you about who gives him information every now and then.
Is that you?
That is me. I'm glad one of you is at least slightly trying to think. I'm known as Webster, the Archmage. Anyway, where you had gotten is an area no one is supposed to be able to access right now, and you've let something out. I'm afraid that is going to cause quite a bit of trouble for me.
How so?
Well, you saw it, didn't you?
Sir George?
Yeah, wait, is Sir George here with us?
Is he the thing that got let out?
Where did Sir George go? Did anyone grab him on their way out?
Oh, wait, I'm carrying him, that's right. He's my sword.
Override silence. He casts a zone of silence on the dwarf.
Oh no.
Anyway, that thing you released, that large... I don't even know what to call it. Did it hit
Ooze?
you?
It did.
Didn't hit me.
I need to access all of
That's
your
right.
characters immediately. I can't do this remotely either. I fear you're all in grave danger right now.
What could that thing have done to us?
Well, to put it in a way you might understand, it's a sort of a bug, a virus. It doesn't belong. It's not normal.
Are we infected now?
Yes, most likely.
What will it do
And
to
any
us?
possessions you would have brought with you out from that place. I'm not sure what it'll do exactly, but I need to get it taken care of almost immediately.
What are you going to do? Use magic on us?
No, the rules of this world don't matter anymore for this. I'm going to need to meet you all in person.
You paying for that?
Appellion will pay for that.
Deal.
As long
Anyway,
as someone's paying.
We need to kill that thing. Sooner rather than later, but
But you just told us that it infected us and that we shouldn't go anywhere near it.
that's the first thing we'll need to take care of. I'll need to develop some sort of a weak point on it. As you saw, normal attacks don't seem to work on it.
Unfortunately.
I could have thrown my strongest spells at it, and I would have had no effect. Oh, by the way, you're all level 5, I believe.
That is correct.
We're gonna have to fix that very quickly too. I'll take
Yeah.
care of that when you're when I meet all of you.
Can
For
we
now,
meet
though,
right now?
I want you all to log out immediately. I'll get in contact with you somehow, or Appellion will. Don't log back in.
Or else... ...
Also,
Who knows? I don't know.
Also, you keep saying this. You keep saying this thing. Can you give it a name so we stop calling it thing? Like bad boy. Because if you say log out,
The
so
dwarf
bad
starts talking,
log
but
out-
no
if you log out
nothing comes
so
out of
that
his voice.
the bad boy doesn't get us. I'll be much more tempted to listen to that.
You remember you're silenced, right?
Yeah,
You're in
I-
a zone of
I
silence.
can talk in it. I'm just not gonna make noise.
Yeah, and we can't hear you. Just
Well, we have that within our guild, though. We can telepathically communicate.
Oh right, I'm using the all chat.
but that's been disabled for you.
Oh shit.
I can see you attempting to speak and I shoot you a mean look.
Mm-hmm.
Can you give us any more information, Webster?
We'll have to meet in person. I'm not telling you anything else. As I said, Appellion will contact you.
I have a strange feeling we should trust this man.
So, are you guys ready to meet your real characters?
We are.
Yes.
I am.
All right. I don't think we have time for that this session, but I will certainly throw you your bios at least.
Awesome.
The next session you guys are in will be in the outside world. You'll be using new,
Oh, wow.
very different characters, and you're going to meet up. It's going to be
Ooh.
crazy,
That sounds exciting.
and maybe you'll fight something,
Ooh.
That definitely sounds exciting.
as opposed to this dungeon where you solve the puzzle.
That was a
Eventually.
That was
difficult
great.
puzzle.
We racked our brains and we did it.
Oh,
love
Yeah,
you
we
sort of
solved
yeah.
it.
All
Sort
right,
of.
that's the end of the session. Congratulations. No treasure was awarded except for whatever you guys stole. You took the halberd and the greatsword, right?
We took the ones that didn't
Yep.
go in the holes.
And then you left 6 gold,
Let me see. 4 gold.
4 gold. Hooray! That makes you 4 gold poorer than when you went in.
It sure does.
Oh, and we have Sir George, who is my sword.
You have Sir George, who's your sword, but he's been corrupted. You'll never get him back. Goodbye to that
Wait.
side quest. I'm
He's
kidding.
here, though, right? Oh,
got
okay.
it.
Yeah, you can write him in your inventory. By the way, he's
Perfect.
a fully functional, intelligent weapon,
That's pretty cool.
which is a very rare thing, unless you're Henry, in which case you throw them in every dungeon you ever do. It's my way of getting to communicate to you guys through something that isn't ropes.
That was
Yeah.
fairly useful. Hey, wait, what was the actual solution to the puzzle? Because
Stereoscopy.
did I solve it the way you wanted me to?
Sort of. Light gives off energy, depending on which color light it is, and in your typical, like the sun, for example, gives off every sort of gradient of it at the same time, but you can kind of divide that up. Red light is by far the weakest, actually. Blue being stronger.
I mean, you're going by spectrometer spectrum.
Yeah,
right?
spectral, whatever, the energy stuff,
All
reflection.
the way from infrared all the way up to ultraviolet, right?
Yeah, but I was only using colors you could see.
Yep.
And black didn't count.
Here is spectro energy.
Something I don't. Some sciencey thing.
I mean, I thought it was like be like a rainbow thing, but I was also thinking that doesn't work for our characters. But I guess not.
Yeah.
I guess I don't know what our blend of modern world knowledge versus modern world versus medieval in-game knowledge is meant to be.
I mean, you guys were just in a dungeon that wasn't ready. It was bare walls and, just marble everything. No textures, no light sources. Except for the artificial ones.
Mm-hmm.
Hadn't been named yet. And now Webster's upset at you guys.
That's okay.
Yeah, that's fine.
He seems pretty incompetent.
Also, Webster, I think, led us into a trap last time.
Why?
We were questioning whether Paul's informant knew what he was talking about when we got ambushed by the whole goblin army, orc army.
Oh, it was their people protecting their house, their fortress. It wasn't. There were a lot more of them that went to the capital. But you guys were the only ones who got treasure. All the people who fought the orc hordes or whatever, and then later came to the fortress afterwards, they didn't get anything, and they were wondering where the treasure went. You guys had it. You guys secured
that's right.
it.
Mm-hmm.
So the information was definitely good.
It would appear so. I remain suspicious.
That's just you.
Well, thanks, Henry. That was fun.
It was good.
Yeah.
Thanks for playing, I guess.
Yeah, it was great.
Yeah, see you again next week sometime.
I will try and get to you guys a date sooner rather than later.
Yeah.
Perfect. Thanks, Henry.
Yeah. Thank you, Henry. This was
Good to see you,
awesome.
Alex.
Yeah.
Yeah. Good to meet you, Alex.
Yeah, nice to meet you too, Kate.
Nice.
All right, adios.
Yep. I'm gonna sign off too.
Bye.